type. Cause I ain't posting no yacht life. She want roses, gold chains, Dior, but she asking me, can you cover the store? I asked the girl, what do you bring to the table? She said, Wi-Fi, password, and good cable. Why I gotta make 6 figures for a broke girl? She ain't got rent, but she want the whole world. Want steak on a plate, never cooked in her life. Said, I'm the trash, but can't be a wife. Yeah, I gotta drive a Benz just to date a couch potato. Swipe me for a meal, then ghost me like NATO. If broke was a job, she got full tenure. But I need a 6-figure check just to win. She posting, know your worth with a filter on, but don't know how to spell entrepreneur in her bio, huh? She got 10 cash apps and none of them full. Yeah, she judging me if my chain ain't pulled. She got dreams of Dubai, but debt from Best Buy. And if I ain't rich, I get no reply. She said manifest me a man with a villa. Meanwhile, she at home sharing fries with her sister. Said she need a king, no less, but she's sleeping in a t-shirt, hair a mess. Tells me energy matters, it's all about the vibe. But she ain't vibing with a 9 to 5. Why I gotta make 6 figures for a broke girl? Hair done weekly, the same as the girl. She don't product, but don't know a 401. She say, pay my bills. I say, you okay? Yeah, I got her own stocks just to cover shopaholic. She got a wish list long as a college syllabus. And broke had a... What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome to the Wednesday live stream. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys could see it. Link. All right, is in the chat. If you disagree, if you agree, if you want to react to some videos with me, today's the day. All right, you could join and just react to some videos with me. If you join, there will definitely be some rules. I mean, hopefully, please be respectful. If you disagree, don't get too emotional. I'm not really into insulting each other. So if you want to join, cool. But yeah, be respectful. Respectful to me, the host, and everyone else that's watching. So yeah, that is the thing. If you want to join, but yes, we will. I'm just gonna watch some Anton Daniels videos. I like the guy. The guy's a amazing content creator. So I like to watch him from time to time. So I want to watch some of his panel shows. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. We'll be watching some of the panel shows and maybe answering the questions that they have on the panel. Okay, so I think that will be fun and interesting. So let's get started. All right, so let's get started. Let's check out this first video.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies? That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue for you?
No, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no, in the sense that we're both saved by grace. We're absolutely on equal footing, but we have very different.
I do want to say this. For women that want to follow traditional values, well, traditional values is straight up, you're not equal. You are treated special. You are treated different. You are not equal. Men don't provide for their equals. No, you share in the responsibilities. You share in certain duties if you are
supposedly equal. This is why a lot of women can't comprehend tradition. They can't comprehend traditional values, and they're confused by it. And why women love to pick and choose. Okay, they would love to pick and choose certain parts of certain ideology and to mash them together to whatever ideology that they want to put out. They want to believe, but I think I said this before. In today's day and age, average people, it is for everyone's best interest, the average people, you can only handle 50-50. You can only handle when both partners are given equally. Both partners are contributing equally. Both partners are taking care of the children equally. Both partners are doing domestic work equally. Because here's the thing. I think, and I'll be fair, I think most men cannot handle the power of being a leader. And I think most women can't handle the power of being led. The power dynamic of being led. I don't think most women can handle being submissive. I really don't think so. Not modern day women. They can't. Modern day women can't handle being submissive. Can't stand being submissive. And I honestly believe modern day men can't handle the power of being the leader. So yeah, I do believe that men want to, but again, women's feminist ideology has been, countering or deprogramming or, just programming men's mind to think differently.
Purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like moving here
I was just
was
going to say that.
ultimately your decision.
Yes,
That's a great
example.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors, Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter, agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same
Right.
person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
I gotta say, I saw a comment that said, the perfect question to ask is, ever since women have honestly gained a significant amount of power, has really society been better? I always said this. After feminism, okay, the beginning of feminism, this is the world that women have created. Women have pretty much puppeteered, or because of their influences, because of their actions and words, this is the society that, resulted from women, mainly women's actions and words. So is society that much better than it was before? I think most people would say no.
And Wilson, a veteran himself, is unapologetic about his view that women shouldn't be in certain leadership or combat roles.
Looking at the leadership page for Christ Church, it's all men. Do you accept women in leadership roles in the church and in government?
In the church, no.
Why?
Because the Bible says not to.
Okay, so someone said in the chat they're going back to basics. Let's start with some of the ladies first, okay? Should women be willing to lose some of their rights for a provider man?
The question, okay? Should women be willing to lose some of their rights for a provider man? Yes, you should. I find it idiotic. I find it delusional for women to clamor for perfection. I want a provider man, but with feminist ideology. What? That's absolutely insane. So you want a man to treat you like you're special, i.e. provide for you, but view you like an equal. how can you view someone as an equal but yet treat them special? That doesn't make sense. I can't, and that's what women want. That's what women want. Women want men to treat them special yet view them as equal. By definition, if you are special, you're not equal. By the ideology, if you've been treated special, okay, special treatment, you provide for them, you care for them, you protect them, you're not equal. Just like if parents provide and protect for children, children are not equal to parents. You're not on equal standings. You are below. They guide you, they lead you, you follow orders. Yo, Eddie, what's up, my brother?
Why, Dalen?
Why do you need to give up your rights for a man? I don't think a man.
A providing man. To go back to the basics of how it was, traditional roles as a woman.
What would the rights be?
The equality.
But we're not equal. I mean, the 19th Amendment, is a law that
You are equal. You can equally get an education just like a man. You can equally get a career just like a man. You can equally get debt just like a man. You are equally can buy your house. You can own whatever. You are 100% equal legally to a man. 100%. So you are equal.
people vote based on their sex, specifically women not being able to vote because they're women. I wouldn't give that up for a man, and I don't think any real man would want you to do that either. What we should be focusing on is educating people so men and women can vote effectively, so you don't have to have this conversation about revoking their rights. We're still citizens and people, and we have, opinions and thoughts and feelings on matters. No,
I think. Look, Kamaya.
Oh no, I thought you was gonna bring them in. No, I was gonna say, I think the purpose of them stating that they want just the men to vote is because the man is the head of the household. So at the end of the day, y'all come together, y'all talk about it, but the grandiose decision relies on the man. So if it'll prevent the women that are like, saying, okay, I don't want to vote for that person, I want to vote for somebody else. You're pretty much canceling out the vote to begin with. And, a house divided against each other will not stand. So it's like really defeating the purpose. It's not about taking away a woman's right. It's just more so about pushing along an actual agenda, a motive that's going to benefit our people and what we actually want, compared to, oh, I just don't like this person, so I'm not voting for them. Like having that little nitpicky type of thing whenever it's not an actual educated, vote.
And sometimes women can't follow the directions. Would you give up your rights for a provider man? That is the question. That is the idea. Don't say, oh, why would I give up my rights for a man? No. Do you want a provider man? Would you give up your rights for that? That is the thing. Not just a man, right? I mean, the modern day, everyday man. No, a man that would be a traditional valued relationship.
So you would be okay with your husband being the only one being able to vote for your household?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any women that disagree? Yeah. Any women in the panel?
I don't disagree as long as we are speaking in the context. Now, the only thing you will have some argue about is the abuse of people who would take advantage, but at the same time, that's still your accountability of who you marrying. So I don't disagree, only because if you should be aligned enough and have that foundation enough that you are at least, like, just think of the last election. If you got a house that was on those two different spectrums of this election, that is exactly what Kamaya said, a house divided. You can't have one person thinking you can mutilate y'all child and the other one don't. So the foundation gonna have to be there regardless. There has to be a line, so I don't see why it would be an issue. And I would have never said this until after this last election. Once I seen how women voted, that started kind of making me second think that.
And I don't think it has to be where you can't have a discussion with your husband. I don't think that it means that you can't give your opinions to him and have a conversation and, you know, actually have some sort of input. But I think that the ultimate decision should be left to your husband. Like, that just makes sense. Like, you can have a conversation, but if he says, I want this, then it should just be that. He heard what you said, he heard what you presented, and if that's not what he feels like is going to be best for the household, not just for you and your feelings, but for the whole household, then it's going to be ultimately up to him, in my opinion.
You gotta also think statistically, single father households fare better than single mother households. It is a statistical fact that fathers lead household better. They produce more productive future adults. It's a statistical fact. So another statistical fact that the majority of men in prisons, majority of men that are criminals, are raised by single mothers. So do we really want women to have complete power? No. They should have a say. Power? No.
Okay, so what happens with the single mothers? Who gets to vote in their household?
I was gonna ask that. What about women that
I'm
don't,
just curious.
women that are divorced or
You
separated?
might could jump in. Sorry.
They should.
Yeah, the single mothers should get the vote. Right? I don't think you should take away nobody's rights, but if the husband and the wife got two totally different views, then you're in a divided house. You know what I'm saying? So like, just hear me out, brother. If one wanted to vote for Kamala, one wanted to vote for Trump, let's have that discussion, right? And let's make points, right? Literally points. Let's tally it up. Whoever wins, that's the vote. You feel me?
I mean, if a single mother, single mother has it, then I mean, yes, I mean, I understand that. But when you're married, I mean, you're married the right man, and you trust his leadership. I don't know why it wouldn't be delegated to him in that circumstance on the direction of the household.
Right, and if the man is supposed to be the leader and the provider, then the leader doesn't take any kind of input from anybody for his final decision. I mean, you can advise him on your feelings, but at the end of the day, it's going to be one vote per household. As far as the single mothers, you just shit out of luck. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just the law. It's laws put in place. It's laws put in place for a reason, and statistics show that over the past few years.
Wait, so you're saying they shouldn't vote? Single mothers shouldn't be able to vote?
No. Why would I entrust a single mother with a vote when she chose the wrong person to have a child by?
Yeah.
But that's not always making her a single mother. That's not how all women.
That's literally how she becomes a single mother. She chose the wrong man. She chose the wrong man. She chose the man that she couldn't see a future with. A man that, for whatever reason, the relationship failed. You couldn't sustain a relationship with this man for whatever reason. So you have bad judging character. You have bad judging character. So yeah, you probably can't judge the future president well.
Would that apply to women who lost their husbands in the line of duty, who lost them in combat, and who widows are incapacitated?
That's a given.
That's such a small percentage.
Not single mothers though. They're not under the umbrella of single mothers.
Yeah, no, they're widows.
But if you look at the statistics, if you look at the statistics, single mothers are bringing down the Black community. I mean, that's just the truth.
I'll say this, as far as the, like, what he's saying, like, I can understand, that way of logic. It's just that I would go further as to say the women that are single that want to still be able to vote, I would say they would need some kind of covering spiritually to where that we know that they're getting some kind of wisdom or kind of understanding or guidance along the way of whatever they're trying to accomplish, instead of just being like, oh, I'm a single mom, I deserve a right, and I need to do this, do that. They need to have some kind of proper guidance along the way to know, like, okay, what you're really trying to achieve, this more so aligns with this. If you're not trying to do this, then don't go this way. You know, they need to be willing to have some kind of counsel.
So single mothers should be able to vote. Do you feel the same way about single fathers? Is it based on because you're single, or the sex?
No, because you had
It's based on because you're a woman.
Okay.
So baby daddies don't have to vote either?
Yeah, they're men.
Oh, they do. Oh.
When they have more.
But I know,
The women that's having children out of wedlock they're all majority sleeping with the same type of guy. It ain't nationwide. It's all baby mothers are having kids by majority of the same men.
Yeah, I'm not tired.
Let's not act like it's a nationwide epidemic of all kind of men are having babies that's out of random women.
Same conversation.
But it's statistically true. It's statistically true. In the black community alone, okay, there are a good amount of men that don't have kids. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there are more men that don't have kids in the black community than there are women that do have kids. So how does that make sense? Well, because more women are having kids with a select few men.
Is it true or no? Like, is it true or no?
What we have to stay focused on the topic. We can talk about this much more in the course, but damn, can we warm up to the first topic first? When I think about voting, I think we talk so much about why so many people are politically ignorant. We talk so much about the national, voting federally and nationally. We don't even vote locally. Do we feel that way on voting across the board, locally and federally, or are we saying when it comes to voting nationally, maybe we don't want women in that area, but should they be able to vote for things for your judges, your sheriffs, things for your school board? Are you confident that there's an end that can compensate for those lost votes for women?
No,
you need to be knowledgeable regardless of what level it's on. You can be voting for your elementary principal in the school district. You need to be knowledgeable regardless. You need to have wisdom regardless. It doesn't matter what level it is. So that's why I say it's very important for these women to have or look to have some kind of counsel, because either way it goes, you're destroying something if you are just going in blinded. So regardless if you're a single mother or whatever it is, even for the men, you need to be knowledgeable, because that's why for the lack of knowledge, our people are destroyed. And we see it day in and day out, regardless if you're single and you've been popping it for pimp, or if you've been holier than thou and married for ages, it doesn't matter. So that's really where it boils down to. That's it.
On sex, it's just based on knowledge, and men and women can be knowledgeable on the topic, and I think we agree on that. That if you're a woman or a man, you need to be savvy on something before you make a decision on it. Otherwise, you can make that decision blindly. So women should be educated on it, and then we all won't have a problem with women voting whether they are married or not, right?
That's just like me saying, I wish I could fly an airplane without even paying to get on the plane. It sounds good, but is it gonna happen? No. Look, I don't even trust women intuition. Y'all say y'all have this intuition and everything about what a man doing and everything. Y'all don't use the same intuition on picking men. Why would I entrust a woman with a vote if she don't even have the correct intuition to make decisions?
Yeah, because
Like, wouldn't it be more a culture thing?
we're voting based on things that really had nothing to do with what was important. Like women were wanting to vote a certain way because of someone's skin color, or oh, she was an AKA. So it's just like those are not things that can affect us. Like nobody cares about those things. Those are emotional based. Those are personal preference. But at the end of the day, I think that a lot of people have a problem with women voting most of the time because women don't have to be drafted. So it's almost kind of like they look at it from a perspective of, why do you get such a say in voting when you will never even have to be drafted? Like, what is the point of that? So I think
presidential election maybe, but that's why it's brought up the local, because even if you vote locally, you don't have to worry about that either.
but if you're going to vote locally, you
I
have
mean,
to.
well, do you think that women, like, they do that as a default way of trying to vote because they're not educated enough to make conscionable decisions about what
Most
to vote?
Here's my thing with women being educated. Of course women are educated. What I find the problem is that kind of, in my opinion, women's emotions will outright their education. How they feel, how women feel. If they feel, if they hate somebody, i.e., like Trump, they hate him so much. Okay, why? Oh, because he did that. But does that make him? What about his policies? What makes him a bad leader? And then you also hear them. Oh, why would you vote for Kamala? She's a woman. What? Is that it? Yeah, she's a woman of color. What? What about her policies? What about it? I've heard plenty of women say that. So I'm not saying women aren't educated, but I think their feelings will trump education. I honestly think women's education, their feelings, their emotions trump education.
A lot of people aren't educated on who to vote for. A lot of people, I mean, from my perspective, like since I started voting, I've heard more people say that let's go back to the Barack Obama era. Like a lot of people, most people were voting for his skin color. They didn't even know what this man was presenting. They never looked into it. Even to this day, like we have grandmothers and aunts and uncles who say, oh, I'm just voting, let's say Democrat, just because that's just what we've always done. They don't even look at the other side. They don't see what's on the table. They just say, oh, I'm going to vote this way because everyone in my family has done this. So when it comes to being educated, absolutely not. Majority people, I don't think are really educated on who they're voting for. Myself, I had to get more hip to and knowledge on who to vote for this time around, because I don't feel like even in the past I was that, you know what I mean? If we're being honest, I don't think that I was that educated on voting. I was kind of at one point doing what I thought everyone else in my family was doing, and then I finally said I want to do it my own way and actually educate myself and see what I'm voting for. Because when things start to affect you, you kind of want to know what you're voting for. And then when the person that you didn't want to be in office gets elected and you're wondering why and you're complaining about it. So it's just like, if you educate yourself on who to vote for, I think that'll be better. Like,
So you just like you educated yourself.
Wait, Dylan. Hold on, Dylan. Hand the microphone.
To say, I think it's bad for women because I feel like a lot of women these days go off of emotion. So I can see how it's like, you know, we see a clip on CNN, abortion rights are going to be completely taken. Like, we just go off of that one. You know, what if someone gets raped? We're going off of like the lowest percentage. We're not going off of a bigger perspective, if that makes sense. Like the bigger.
Man, put that to sleep. Women don't even know what they want to eat in the evening time. I can ask my woman, what would you like to eat? I want this plate. No, I want to ask you. She don't even know what she want to eat. So why, once again, why would I induce my woman to vote? The stats say we in the black community, we look, most black people voted for Kamala Harris. Did we actually want Kamala Harris in office? No.
Okay,
Now she's right in the book.
Trump's
Come on, let's be
racist.
real.
That's
Wouldn't
what
that be more of a culture thing?
So I have a question. So to take it away from voting, right? Do you think that women should also lose power into authoritative roles? Like manager positions, CEO positions? Like if that's the case.
Not all of them. Certain
What I've heard that a lot of women have said that they rather have a male boss than a female boss. I've heard a lot of women say that they rather have a a male boss than a female boss. So
yes. I don't think women should lead churches. They should not be the president of the United States of America. Things like that.
Well, I will say this. I do.
Now, I'm not gonna say they can't minister. I'm not gonna say they can't evangelize or any of that. But leading a church, like being over a church, no, they should.
Wait a minute now. Leading a church.
I will say this.
It's more male pastors getting in trouble than women pastors.
A lot of them shouldn't be leading a church, but if we just talking about the order,
Exactly.
they should not be doing that.
I agree.
Now, as far as women being in like dominating leadership roles and stuff like that, I believe in hard work. If you work your way up to that position, you deserving of that. It shouldn't be because of favoritism or anything like that. So I ain't disagreeing with that.
I think when it comes to, let's say, if you made it on the same basis as a man qualifications, you should do it, just like the army or the military. I don't think women should have less push-ups, pull-ups, or whatever they got to go through, ASVAB, whatever they call it, than men. Because if you can't get on there at the minimum level as a man, you shouldn't be doing it. I'm sorry.
That's right.
With firefighters, I want to get rescued by a woman firefighter that can't do the same thing a man can do. I'm sorry. So I
don't think they should be in the military. They should not be in the military.
No, some of these Brittany Griner belong in the military. It's some of these women that are men.
That's because she is.
Brittany Griner belongs back over there on the feet of jail.
Now, I will say, I will say for sure, I definitely do agree with you, because a lot of times it is needed. I don't know if any of y'all are like Marvel fans or anything, but like the Black Widows, that's really a thing, where these like lethal ass women out here whipping your ass and you can't do nothing about it. Or I can't remember how you pronounce it off of Black Panther, the sect of women, warriors. You know what I mean?
The Novelage or something like that.
Yeah, them. And it's like it's needed whenever the women are dedicated and they have a purpose. Like how Anton always talks about women need purpose. They need a purpose. When you have your purpose and you're in that, I believe women should be thriving and just doing all of that and stop worrying about all this extra bull. But when women are not doing,
I agree. I agree. The sisterhood trumps logic. Women, I've heard so many women. Okay, the only reason why they wanted Kamala or even Hillary Clinton was because she was a woman. That is it. Nothing about their policies at all. And I honestly believe a lot of times women just can't take away their emotions when in leadership role. They can't be logical, and it's a danger. I would say the same thing with men. Any man that like acts on his emotions and not on logic, no, you're a danger.
that they just all over the place, and then you see them on social media twerking in Lululemon. So I don't disagree. You know, I feel like they do need to be doing everything.
Do you think women should lead a church, Kamaya?
Now, this is my thing. Because hold on, because you know, I don't want to get too deep in that.
I know how you feel. I know.
But I will say
that's
this.
Why I'm asking the question.
I will say this. I believe if something happens, like let's just say there's a first lady, right? And her husband dies. And they have a church.
First lady.
No, I'm just like, you know what I mean? The wife. I'm just saying the terms people know. If the pastor dies, somebody has to come and be like, okay, I'm here doing the work. But I don't feel that she needs to stay in that position. I don't feel that women have to be like, oh yeah, I'm going out to be a pastor, or I'm going out to do this. But if it is like absolute God led, where it's like, okay, there are women disciples in the Bible, there are women apostles, there are, there are certain
Right,
things
I'm not
in
saying,
prophet,
like,
in
analyze
prophet.
the apostles they build.
Yeah.
Just
But
believe
as far as doing a Moses work, I don't believe women should be doing a Moses job or a Joshua job, going in and bringing in.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys think? The religion part, I don't really care. Like I said, I mean, to be honest, I don't think women. I've said this in other things. I don't think in general. I don't think it's a good thing with all the female coaches, female manifestation coaches, life coaches. I said this, that I don't think women are good role models. I don't think women are good life teachers. Now, maybe some kind of educational material, fine. Right? Math, science, English, fine. Life, I don't think so. I really don't think women are good at it. I think women, because they are so, with like math, English, and all that other stuff, you are binded, right, by the logic, by the education. With life, dating coach, life coach, whatever, all those, you're not binded by anything. You're just going about how you feel. And when women do shit by how they feel, it's just really just idiotic. Yeah, they are a good target for selling things. I agree with that. I agree with that.
I don't believe in that.
All right, let's check out this video.
But I do believe, right. But if they get in there temporarily, right? Don't you think a lot of women, when it comes to power, getting infected with malice?
But that's the whole point of the Holy Spirit. That's why I said I didn't want to get too deep in that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too deep in that. But
we ain't doing
stay in position, just like in Judith but I'm not saying like that's what it has to be. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Jordan, I know you ain't said nothing yet, but do you think that if women are wanting a provider type of man, should they give up some rights? Voting rights, certain rights regarding positions of power. Do you think that they should do that?
I think it depends on what rights we're talking about. I mean, the ones we're talking about right now is voting. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on the situation you are in the household, like the situation you're in the household. But one thing I did want to say that I noticed is that while like everyone's talking, we're taking like a topic, which is normal to do, but we're taking a topic and we're saying like, oh, like most women do this and like most men do that. But I wanted to point out that one thing that I feel like has helped me in these type of conversations is like, we take one person and then we like to put that label over everybody in that category. So we're like, oh, like most women do this. So yeah, so most women shouldn't vote. And like most.
Oh God, women are so. This is why it's hard to have a conversation with a lot of women. It's generality. You talk in general. To be specific about shit is really annoying because there's so much nuance that there's so many variations you can talk about. That's why it makes conversations like really annoying with women sometimes. Oh, not all women. Yes, we got it. But when to have a more productive conversation, a less long-winded conversation, you talk in generalities. So ridiculous.
Men do this, so most men shouldn't do that. But the reality of the situation is a lot of people are different. So it's like, while it could be an overcast of a category of people, it's not everybody. So it's like to say, oh, we should take away all voting rights from all women or all single moms or all people in earth.
She didn't say all. She said, would you give your rights up for a provider man? So the women's that want the provider man, would you give your rights up? Not all women, not all. It's like, that's why. This is why I've seen so many things with women, and I've said it where it's and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's just internet women are different than, I don't know, real life women in real life. But it's the problem is like you got a lot of women don't know how to talk in general. They don't, it's particularly any kind of conversations that don't is not a good light on them. They don't like to talk in general. They like to use like nuance, like anecdotes, or just the small percentage to, you know, make a different kind of point.
Relationship, like I feel like it's not everybody, and then we also talked about knowledge and education. So it's like some people are educated.
Oh yeah, women. I meant women hate being generalized.
They might be in a situation where they're a single mother, and it's like, who are you to judge that, and how do you know? How do you know the situation they're in? You know, and it's
Well,
like
the first thing when we speak, we just talk.
You gotta let her finish, Nikki.
I'm sorry.
no, but I mean, I know we're talking about in general, but I'm just saying it's like there are situations where it's like people are different, and then we talked about the military and, you know, the push-ups and the running and how it should be the same for women and men. Completely agree with things like that. But it's like there are some women who can do that, and it's like that's a fact. So it's like to take away the right to go into the military for all women. It's like if the woman can go up and those are the standards and they're the same, and the woman can go up and do what the man is doing and that's what she wants to do, then I feel that she should be able to do that.
Hey,
So it's
Jordan,
like
are you familiar with boxing? You know Floyd Mayweather?
Yes.
You was ducking and dodging the whole question. I'm gonna tell you like this right here. If I took your voting right away, is it right? Are you okay with just men voting across the board? Are you okay with that?
I don't think we should take away women's rights to vote. No.
No, you're not answering the question. If I took your voting right away and just all men across the board vote, are you fine with that?
No.
Okay. That's all you had to say.
Yeah. Anybody else would be okay with that? Dalen, Jordan.
That's all I had to say. You've been going on talking about other stuff too, so we're not allowed to talk now. We're on a panel for a reason. You want to sit here and call me out, but you talking the whole time.
No, I was playing off.
But one time I talked, you tell me not to talk. That's crazy. That's why we don't take away women's rights to vote.
I just asked you a very direct question.
That's what you're doing. Just saying.
But that's right, Jordan. Hold your anger.
No, that was stupid. Like literally, that was stupid. Like neither. This is why. For what he was doing, he was giving examples. What she's doing, she's trying to make the conversation more broad, so you don't have to be specific. It's like, or you don't have to be so general. I mean, she was trying to make the conversation more nuanced, which women are so ridiculous with trying to add nuance to the conversation. I mean, like, yeah, we get it. Are there women that are stronger than men? Yeah. Are there women that are better than men or certain men? Yeah. So what? That's not all women. That's not even most women.
You're being big and bold, and I feel like it's disrespectful. It's like I haven't talked the whole time, and the one time I talk, you're gonna come at me and pretty much be quiet, and I go to other things that I'm trying to talk about, but you've been talking all the time.
You was dancing around Q's
I'm just saying.
And everybody on the panel.
Just answer the question. I wasn't answering the question, and also talk about what I wanted to talk about. So thank you.
Yeah, I go that.
Isn't that like a make a solution, Black?
Take it away. Like, I feel like if you're married, okay, we vote as one, that makes sense because we're supposed to think the same or be the same, you know, be on the same page, equally yoked. But I just feel like if you're a single parent, I feel like it should be granted to both parents.
Also, if you're married,
Great kid or multiple kids by yourself, and you can't vote on what's going on around you. I mean, I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
Life
What if they start making rules like if you're a government assistant, you can't vote? I think criteria. If you're a government assistant, you can't vote.
I agree with that.
Agree with that.
I agree with that. Why I have to pay my tax money?
What if you're in a gay couple? You can't vote.
Right?
Man, woman.
So if you're a man and y'all busting up each other's backs, should they have the right to vote? They still do.
It's still 2 men.
Head of household.
But black men, he just talked about black men. Do y'all think that masculine men and gay men have the same views and will vote the same way, considering that their lifestyles are very different?
No, they ain't got the same way. I started to say something.
Don't be scared. Don't hold back now, because Jordan.
I'm going to say what I said. No, we ain't got the same views. I want pussy. He want badussy. All right. We don't have the same. We don't think the same. Okay. Let's just be clear. He's delusional. That gay person is delusional and crazy, and he's kind of psychotic in a sense. When I am a grown ass man that wants women, why we do not think the same. But I will say this: if two gay men are married, one is going to have to be the head of the household. It's not two.
So they just make them identify as top of bottom.
Woman, the other got to be.
They can be switched. They can be both though.
Yeah,
they both can be bottom. They both can be bottom.
Make a decision.
Now that right there, that statement right there is kind of hypocritical, because if we always push that gay men are still men, regardless, they're not female, they're not this, they're not that, and they're trying to tell us, oh no, I am. It's like you saying that is kind of insinuating that they're kind of right, but it's wrong. That's still 2 men, and regardless of how they feel, like we always talk about these women, how they feel, it has nothing to do with the actual logic behind it. And men are more logical than women, even though they may have more estrogen flowing through their veins and need a really good detox. And you can always hit me up on Instagram. You can need it.
Hey,
She's curing you. But seriously though, let's not go that far over the hoop. Like let's bring it back a little bit. They're 2 men. Let's be clear. Galen, scratch all of that he just said. It's 2 men. Okay.
It might be 2 men.
On that saying that if you're gay, you don't have a right to vote. But I'm saying a man is a man.
I didn't say that. I asked a question.
Not you. I'm talking about Mr. Black TV.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said that 2 gay men are married under the household. One has to be the lead. One.
You said one got to be the man and one got to be the female. That's what you said.
Feminine.
You cannot do that. You can't change a man to that. Like,
why not? Why not? It's America. Why not?
Wait, what? The whole point was saying that if you have a vagina, you should not be voting. So whether or not you are a gay man or a straight man, you're still biologically a man. Therefore.
But here's the thing: with men, we understand hierarchy. Men, we understand hierarchy. So I honestly believe, even in a gay relationship, one man will take charge, and the other will be fine with it. We understand hierarchy. We do. Men understand. They understand, a level of leadership, right? They understand it. So it's not a foreign concept to men, even to the gay men.
Well, you know what? Let's go with the narrative. They both can vote then. They both can vote. Now what? How's that going to change the fact that
I think that would make sense. Like, no matter if they're gay, you said that they're men, only men should vote. So it doesn't matter if they're gay. It doesn't matter if they're straight or if they're bi or they're pan or whatever. If you are biologically a man, you are the only one that
No, my whole argument was, if you're the lead in the household, which is the first thing I said on the panel, if you're the lead of the household, it should be 1 vote under the house. That's the first thing I've said in this conversation.
So they should only have 1 vote then.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else?
I also think it's kind of stupid. Voting is like, I mean, I don't know the exact statistics, but I don't think most Americans even vote. I think voting is such a, I I get it. It's a right, but it's not really that amazing. Most people really don't give that much care about politics.
Let me get to the quick super chats. Let's just be honest. I don't think that's gonna happen. Women are gonna lose their rights. Women want to be equal to men so bad. So I don't think this is gonna happen.
I mean,
And
women
men-
have the
and
women
men
have the
don't care.
buying power.
They do what? They have what?
Women,
If you take women's rights to vote, y'all gonna be set back in what
Yeah,
way?
you're gonna be set back because I think this whole idea of women feeling like they're oppressed because the internet and we're seeing how like over there in the Middle East, a lot of women don't get to vote and they see how oppressed they are. Like, I think it's gonna degrade them mentally and then we're gonna have more unstable homes no matter how much the guy is leading, no matter how much the guy is providing. So we gotta keep their rights to vote. We shouldn't take no rights from them.
Do you think women are oppressed now?
Nah, not at all. I think they're bored.
Hey,
I think women are bored. Yeah, for sure. They're bored.
I'm just saying. I'm my bad. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
You think women are bored?
But you can't compare the Middle East to America. Like, we're the most going on country in America.
What I'm saying is,
you're comparing them being oppressed or whatever to Middle East of America. This is America. If anything, women are put on a pedestal more than any country in America.
it's all about, I'm speaking from numbers, right? It's a lot more women over there than over here, right?
What?
Most of those women over there don't vote. They can't vote. They can't walk without a man. You know what I'm saying? So if we take the land,
What? I don't think that's true. I think we have a larger population. So I don't know what he's talking about.
free and start removing rights from our women, we're going to be set back. You feel me? I'm not saying everybody vote, everybody make a right decision when they vote, but we don't want to go back.
You think it's gonna set people back or correct them? Because to you, to some people in America, if you travel overseas, to some people in America, they might seem oppressed because you're not in their culture. But to them, the women themselves, they don't feel oppressed because that's how they were raised. So do you think that might actually correct this culture in the right way instead of oppressed?
Nah, because that's not what America stands for. You feel me? It's just not.
Well, at one point in time, women didn't have the right to vote.
Right, but then we did give them the
And look
right.
at it now.
Right? So if we
But
take
that's
it
because
away,
they
we'll be
wanted to
taking a step
double up.
back. Yeah, but they got, so women
That
got their
was an
right to vote
agenda.
and they got their right to work.
And now look,
Well,
I mean, the question is,
I mean, what
what's the
good come
trade-off?
out of it?
What's the trade-off?
What's
Yeah,
the
what is
trade-off?
the trade-off?
Women don't vote?
Yeah, like what's the trade? I mean, you got to be able to determine. It's like the Common Soul quote: "There's no solutions, only trade-offs." So basically, if you did take out the right to vote from women, how would that affect the country negatively? What's the trade-off?
That's what I wanna
you
know.
got to ask yourself.
Are we willing to find more?
I want to know how women are going to feel oppressed if they don't get to vote.
They're not gonna feel like they have a say in what goes on in society, and I just think.
Look at the feminist movement. Look what
They
they
feel like that.
No, the feminist movement is straight. The feminist movement is straight bullcrap.
Yeah, because women wanted to have the right to say what they want to say and move how they want to move, and look how that ended up.
Right, but when you look at it, if you go by the credit system, most women have better credit than men. Most women are.
Are you sure?
I
don't think
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Most women-
It's women.
Most women are in debt.
We're in debt.
Yeah, they're in debt, but to get in that debt, they have to have good credit. I'm not saying they.
No, not really.
They messed it up.
That's not true.
Everybody had good credit.
No, you don't. No, you don't
You
even
don't
start
have to
off.
have good credit.
Well, according to recent analysis, such as Experian study from the first quarter of 2020, women and men had nearly identical average credit scores. So no, stop spewing things that you really don't know. I mean, stop spewing things you really don't know. So by studies that no, most men and women have identical credit scores.
To get in debt. Trust me, you can get. These girls are spending $1,000 on a Honda car payment.
Women spend too much money.
Well, have to pay, abusing all that credit card,
Yeah, what's it called? The afterpay, all that
The
stuff.
Klarna and all that.
Look,
They
y'all
pay
got
shopping.
you got respect on Afterpay. I love Afterpay.
And now it's on Cash App. It's dope.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a good question Rob asked. What would be the trade-off? What would be the negatives and the positives if women's rights was taken away to vote?
Like, give an example, Rob.
Like, I mean, the obvious thing, I mean, you want to set that aside, which would be it negatively impacts women. You know, that's like the obvious thing that could be debated. But how would it affect negatively the rest of the country? It's economics, it's government, everything.
Wait, how would it affect women negatively? I'm just trying to figure out. If I don't have the right to vote, am I gonna wake up and cry and be like, "Oh my God, I didn't have the right to vote for the president," and stop going to work, stop shopping, stop eating? Is that gonna really like? I just wanted to know, is that really gonna affect me? Like, I don't know. Is this not gonna really affect women in a big way?
So are we just talking about on the federal level? Because I believe Balin brought up the local level too.
Okay.
If the men is at work, who's taking who's taking the women to school? I mean, who's taking the children to school? Who's voting?
The women?
The women, right? Now the women get to interact with this principal when they drop them off and pick them up, right? We're still at work, right? They get to vet these people to see if they're the right fit. So if we take away, we will be unaware of what's going on in education.
Not necessarily. That's
What? You don't vote for your principals. That's not how it works. You don't vote for teachers. Women aren't going to, city hall and getting to know elected officials in the local level. What the? I swear to God, it's like this is a thing where certain men they try to be very, very feminist in mindset. It makes them sound stupid.
The conversation of the household will be about. So if you're in a household, and like I said earlier, you can have a conversation. You can put your input. You can let your husband know, like, this is who, blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a conversation that can be had. It doesn't just mean he's like, no, don't say anything to me. Like, the conversation can be had, but
A president always has a vice president. But that vice president ain't making fucking decisions. You got to think of that.
ultimately the decision should be left up to the husband. Like, she can still think, like, who she should vote in for the schools and all this stuff. Like, it doesn't mean that it has to be black or white. Like, ultimately, the decision should be left up to the husband. If we're going in order, if you're married and you're a wife, that's kind of how the order should be. I don't understand why that's so confusing. Like,
Consulting is going to be made by the men anyway. We get to them with anything. You don't make a decision.
the ultimate voting.
I mean, if you want to be like vindictive like that, then that if it works for you, then that would be great. But as a whole, this is what normally happens in kingdoms, in empires, in all kind of things. When it's ran by a man, the women are normally summoned to come and talk to the man. And the man discusses and says things. He asks the woman, hey, is there anything on your heart you want to talk to me about? Yeah, it was this and that. And, oh, Haman is trying to kill me and my family. And then next thing you know, Hadassah saves her entire country because she was just being a meek and humble being. Instead of trying to find some way to control the man, that means he's paying property taxes. They're paying taxes for these schools. So it's inevitably his decision anyway. So if you have that kind of dynamic, it would be in your best interest to want to speak and talk to your husband and say these things that's going on, say these things that's bothering you, so that he can be some kind of savior or some kind of, help to the cause, instead of trying to defeat the purpose. And I'm just not going to say anything at all because he's going to make the decision anyway. Then you don't need to be with that man. You need to just be by yourself and not even worry about decisions having to be made, period. Because the purpose to be married is to be with someone that you truly trust and you honor and you value and you respect, regardless of anything else.
And that's why a lot of women probably won't get married, because they don't know how to follow that order. Like, a lot of unfortunately, a lot of women feel like no, I want this. And no, it's just like, why do you need so much power? Like, why do you need to be the one to say this is how something should go? Like, women don't trust the man that they're with. That's the problem. You're picking the wrong man, and because you don't trust the man that you're with to lead, that's why you have so much pushback. It's ultimately up to you. Choose the right man, and you wouldn't even have that problem, to be honest. That you're married to lead the household.
Yeah, I think we hear that women suck, they don't make good decisions. But do you think if you're a taxpaying citizen, because you brought up men pay property taxes, so do you think if you're a taxpaying citizen, you should be able to vote? Because women work and they pay them taxes. Shouldn't you have that right just based on that fact? You're taking this shit out.
Right, but at the same time, women are not logical. Women like to go off of emotion. Women like to be triggered by a lot of things and like to respond in certain ways and react to certain things. So if that's how women operate, then I wouldn't want those kind of women to be in these voting booths. I want those women at home cooking and woosah somewhere. I don't need y'all trying to vote to try to say whatever y'all want to happen just because of a feeling that is very fleeting. That's all I got to say about that.
But I don't we think that women vote ignorantly the way that they do because they don't know. They have to put something in place. You don't know. You're not politically savvy enough to say, okay, I'm voting on this matter. So you want to be a part of it, but you're not willing to put in the work intellectually to figure out, well, what do I care about so I can vote on this appropriately? If we just say, hey, let's focus on making sure you all are educated from the school institutions all the way up until you graduate and continue to make yourselves knowledgeable. That way we can feel confident as a whole, as a community, to trust women. So we've seen how the leftist women during this last presidential campaign, they're all saying all type of foolishness. I didn't hear anything smart from these women that were outside picking vote for Kamala. And it's because they're ignorant. They don't know, especially when they're doing their street interviews and they're asking them questions about ongoing issues and they get frustrated and mad. We get the insulting and trying to assault people because they got stumped because they're asking questions about something, about a cause that they're fighting for, but you can't even answer simple.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, most people shouldn't be voting. So, because voting is silent, which yes, exactly. Yep, exactly. Let's check something else different. The Lapeef network. I get. Yeah. Let's check something else. Let's try a clip from the Lapeef network. So.
I did want to address something you said earlier about equality, and my position is we're more alike than we are different. Now, biologically, our bodies are definitely different. Socially, we're basically the same. Now, I understand what you were saying. I completely agree with all of it. When you put it like that, I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. But I think a lot of women are asking just for equity, not necessarily equality. Like, we don't necessarily want to be equal to you, but we definitely want the environment to be equitable. We want to be able to have the same opportunities to just function the way we function.
Can you give me an example, just so I know that I'm on the same page with you? Can you give me an example?
So I'm much different than the average woman. The average woman does not own a garage full of power tools. The average woman just doesn't do, like, I like getting dirty and doing what I do. And I know that I can't.
The average lonely woman does.
Say what?
The average lonely woman has a garage full of power tools, trust me.
No, they don't. No, they don't, Darwin.
They gotta get that.
No, they don't.
That shit themselves.
No, they don't, because my friends call me to do all of their work. They do not do that. The average woman does not have a garage full.
Your friends again. You're using anecdotal experience to say majority of women. No, that's idiotic. That's an idiotic take. Women constantly do that. That's why they hate generalization, because women love to be proven right. So they use anecdotal experience. Oh, my friends. How many friends do you have? Do you have a couple thousand friends? If you have a couple thousand friends, then you know what? Maybe you have a good basis. But do you have a couple dozen then? Because that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket to the population. Again, yes. Again, my friends don't. It's again.
Average single woman does not have a garage full of power tools. They have a Rolodex full of people that they can call to do the work that they need done. And they pay those people for sure. But and I know that I am not able to do the things the way a man can do it because we are different. But the opportunity to show up and have the opportunity to do the things that I do want to do and like to do.
Now, I'll use Google. It's difficult to pinpoint the exact number of women owning power tools, but with certain studies, approximately 40% of power tools purchase decisions are influenced by women, either solely or jointly with men. Additionally, nearly 12% of women use power tools for every household project they tackle. So statistically, good amount of women at least. So you're not that rare.
And I am able to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like in my relationship, I don't want to be looked at differently as if I'm masculine just because I'm building a greenhouse in my backyard. A lot of men are put off by that, right? Like, I want to be seen just as a person who has a lot of talents. Like, I'm talented, right? And so I don't want to be looked at differently because of that. Because a lot of men have a very rigid view of what a woman is supposed to be. So when I take out my power tools and I'm taking raw materials and I make it something, I don't want a man to be like, I don't want to do all that. That's real manly right there. And I'm like, but I got booty shorts and a sports bra and I'm cute doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very feminine. I just do what I do. And I think we're just asking for equity and just to be seen as people, just like y'all like to be seen as people and not these dainty, feminine, like helpless creatures.
All right. Thank you for that. I have 2 or 3 points I think that could be very helpful with this. Number one, you and Jasmine, are y'all outside of you two being equal in terms of being human beings, like in terms of value? Are you two equal? No, right? So if you're not equal with another woman, you're not equal with another man. And I'm not equal with Darwin outside of the fact that we're
Yo, I'm just learning about this man. I just learned about this man. He was talking about so much of like what women don't understand about men. And I was like, I saw a TikTok clip about this man. And I'm like, wow, I think I want to learn more about this man, because I think this man is very, very smart, very smart. So I kind of want to dig deeper into this man's content. So yeah, I'm starting to learn this about a little bit more. I'm just starting to learn a little bit about this man's content. So I would love to see more.
Our equality starts and stops, believe it or not, with our humanity. And all other distinctions, our gender, our age, our experience, our skill set, there's reasons for why, one person will get the job, another person will get the job. In 2025, there is nothing that you can't do.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like when I saw the TikTok clip of this man talking, he was doing it like seems like there was. It was just very, very nicely articulated, very nicely said. Man, so and right now this man is speaking like good facts, or
in terms of employment, right? Even in terms of intense fields, physical labor fields, they'll lower the standards now for women so that they can't do it. So if you want to be a firefighter, you don't have to have the same standard that a male firefighter has to do. If you want to be in the military, your mile won't be the mile of your male counterpart. You want to be a police officer, you name it. Field after field after field. By default, because you're in America, as a woman, you can already go and do that. The issue for all women, and I'll say this specifically to Black women, is yes, you're right. You probably had experiences where some men that were turned off because you had a certain type of job. A lot of men, I can't speak for your personal experience, but a lot of men are not actually turned off by the job or even the type of job. They're turned off by the traits that are often associated with those women. The behavioral traits that sometimes comes with women that has very demanding schedules, demanding jobs, demanding fields, is that they're highly disagreeable, that they are a little rough around the edges. They assume because I look good that I'm still feminine. Because I get my name, I'm still feminine. Because
God damn, that man is speaking great facts. That was amazing articulation. This is what I've said this before. I know my place. I'm not that, I'm not that charming. I'm not that articulated. I stutter. I'm long-winded. I know I'm not that good. I don't expect myself to, grow big or anything because I don't have that, screen present. But I give a brother a prop. I give people props because that's amazing shit. I love what he's saying. I love how he's saying it too. Amazing.
Because my hair and I got my makeup on, I still let a man lead. Well, I always look at it through the lens as your outcomes. Does your outcomes reflect the thing that you're saying that you're doing? So an example of what I'm basically saying is when I talk to women who are struggling in the dating market, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that," but I'm saying, but if all the men, your outcomes would typically be different. If I'll say it this way, because you kind of mentioned something in terms of you want to be perceived a certain way from men, right? You want them to still see you as soft, as still feminine, or in essence, right? And that you don't want what you do to impact how people see you. If we flip it, and this is why I think both sexes can get a better understanding of this stuff. When you all question what it is about men being turned on and turned off about stuff, what's your icks? What's your things that makes it known? I can't do this guy. I absolutely can't take him seriously. I'm not going to return his phone call. That's not my type. Whatever that list of things is that attracts you or turns you away, we have our own version of that. And again, no one has to teach us that.
But my point is that there is a very rigid view of what a woman is. And so I get it. I promise I do. And I'm not, again, I don't invalidate experiences. It's like how you feel, how you experience things. I'm never going to invalidate that. But there is a very rigid view. Like you have to meet these certain points to be this feminine woman to men. And for me, and the other women can agree or disagree, but for me, it normally is that rigidity and all of the things that come with it. The rigid masculinity, the rigid like gender roles.
Why is it rigid?
I don't like because it can never be anything else but what you.
This is why I think this is ridiculous. So you said, have you dated the geeks? Have you dated the awkward men? Have you dated the men that aren't like gym bros, like the fat men? Have you dated? This is the problem with a lot of women. You use your personal experience, the type of men that you are attracted to, and then blanket it for all men. You know how many? I've gotten so many comments, so many responses that pretty much because of my geeky collection, I'm not viewed as a man. I'm not viewed as a masculine man. It's like, oh my God, look at all that shit you have in the background. How can you talk about women? Look at all that shit in the background. How can you be red pill? Look at all that shit in the background. How can you advise men, or how can you have an opinion about shit, about dating? That's the thing. There are men that don't fall into the rigidity of masculinity. Why aren't you attracted to those men? No. Most likely, you are attracted to the men that do fall into the rigidity of masculinity. So that's why you use that example to blanket all men. There are geeks out there. There are nerds out there. There are men that honestly don't care about sports, don't care about exercising, that don't care about cars, that don't care about the stereotypical manly shit. Hell, there are men that would never even touch a power tool. You can fucking fix the whole fucking house for all he cares. But most likely, you probably don't view that as a man. There are men out there that wears earrings. There are men out there that, care about his hair, care about other shit, has a face cleaning routine. Go date that man. But no, you probably aren't interested in that man. And this is the problem with a lot of women. They use the men that they are attracted to and then use that example for all men or majority of men. When I've said this before, if women want a particular man of any kind of category, there is that man. You most likely just not attracted to those men.
You all see it as, right? Like, you're not allowing people to just be people. Like, women are not these bullet point things. You cannot list what a feminine woman is because it looks different.
We live
And
in
it
society.
should look different just like men in their masculinity can look different.
Sorry, Dawn, bro, I have a question for you. And I hope that this question will illustrate the direction I'm going in.
Okay.
Who do you think has more prerequisites or standards in order for them to be satisfied and interested in order to date the opposite sex? Who has the much longer list of expectations that the opposite sex has to meet in terms of requirements?
Okay, if we're talking about in society, then I guess it has to be women.
You guess.
So if the few things, so hold on just one second. So just to clarify, there's actually very few things that men are actually looking for and to satisfy. And I think our standards have had to go down every decade in order for us to be able to still find a suitable partner.
Not mine.
So what I'm suggesting is rather than trying to demonize women with their lengthy list of prerequisites. So for instance, if you feel like you don't want men to be so rigid with their viewpoints, I'm not going to shame women that want a man that's taller than them. I'm never going to shame women that want a man that's not weaker than them. I'm never going to shame women that don't want to be with men that they don't feel safe with and that you feel like that he can't protect them. So rather than being like, well,
and then she said she doesn't want the rigidity, masculinity. I'm pretty sure you could date weaker men. I'm pretty sure you could date shorter men. But no, you're not attracted to those men. So those men are invisible to you. It's not even close, lady. Exactly. It's not even close.
you just need to change that. No, that's what you can't go through 10,000 years of evolutionary biology and know that who you are and how you've been shaped to be. There's actually certain natural inclinations of what no one had to teach you that you may have felt safer with a man that you weren't looking down on. That's just a hardwired in you. So remember when I mentioned about that blank slate theory thing? A blank slate theorist will have issues with the opposite sex's stances of what they're attracted to that they feel they're not measuring up to. So when you hear these men that's going off and complaining about women this and women that, evolutionary biology is learning about, in order for you to not be a genetic dead end as a man, you have to adapt to what women want. You don't get to dictate what it is that women are attracted to or what they want. What they want is what they want, and they're not going to settle. So if we're going to hold women to that standard, then we have to hold men to that, especially men who have the choice and option as well. The man that you want has standards just like you do. And just like many of the key core things that you either like or don't like or turn-ons and turn-offs, you get to arbitrarily decide which one of those you want to honor or set aside. So too does he. Now, for you, a guy may look at you and initially think a certain thing. Oh, she's going to be rough around the edges. She's doing all this hard manual labor. But what happens to the guy who has that image in his head, and then he talks to you, and he gets the total opposite experience? Suddenly your job and field and craft of what you do for a living doesn't matter to him anymore. Because experientially, that whatever's happening outside that home, when you walk through that door, he doesn't feel it. Guys don't care. Guys ain't, when women are like, if I went to school or I made all of this money, I didn't go to school to make 80,000, 100,000, 125.
God, I don't know what to say because this man is speaking facts. This man is speaking amazing. I gotta watch more of this man. I gotta watch more of this man. I got this man I gotta learn from. I'm gonna be learning from this man because the way he talks is amazing. It's very coherent, smooth. It's I love it. The logic flows.
To date a guy that's making 40. We're never going to shame her into accepting a guy that's making $40,000. It's not going to happen. She put herself in a position that that's what it is that she desires. And either she's the type of woman that can garner and get that type of man, or she doesn't. If he's the type of man that's saying, I want a woman that's feminine, soft, respects my leadership, displays submissiveness at times, and works well with me and is on my program, are you the type of guy that can get that out of women, regardless of what she does for a living? Every guy doesn't qualify for the type of woman that he wants. And guess what? Every single woman doesn't qualify for the type of man that she thinks she wants.
Right.
We have to learn how to adjust to the sex we're saying we want. What we're doing as in dating, communication, this is a great, to me, I think this is a really cool analogy. Imagine going for a job interview. You get there, you sit down, you're late, you're in your pajamas, and you slide over your resume, and it's a whole bunch of irrelevant stuff that has nothing to do with the job position that you want. And as the person's trying to ask you questions, you're talking about how much you want to make and what your hours is going to be, and they're saying, well, this is what our salary is, and this is the prerequisites of what we're looking for in experience, and this is what we'll be willing to pay you, and this will be the schedule. And you say, yeah, I don't like any of this. I want way more money. You say in 5 days, I'll do 2 days. One of those days is gonna be virtual. You just making up your own rules. What's the likelihood of you filling that job position? And you getting picked? Less than slim to none. Men have, each man, if there's different types of men, there's usually general attraction triggers of what most men want. And the men that are of demand, their standards are even higher. So I'll give you an example on my end. When I was younger and I was chasing after and thirsty and trying to, shoot my shot, and I'm sending flowers and doing all this stuff. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And this is a hell of a lot of effort. By the time I got to 30, things were a little bit different. And when I was on a dating app, I was a BLK Black. I had flew to Atlanta for 2-hour layover, and then I flew to Chicago and landed. When I flew to Atlanta, 2 hours, turned my phone on real quick, turned it back off, didn't check the app. Got to Chicago. The 2 hours I was in Atlanta to the half hours I was in Chicago till I got in my cousin's car when she picked me up from the airport, it was 72 to 74 women that had matched with me, were initiated contact with me after 2 hours in 2 different cities. You don't get to dictate anything to me. The other 69 women, I can choose. That's the dating market. So if you are, if there's nothing else I'm going to say tonight that's going to be helpful, if we understand the opposite sex better, we'll move different. In the global dating market, we ain't worried about America, in the global dating market, in terms of desirability, it's white men at the top, it's black men number 2, it's Hispanic men number 3, and Asian men number 4. In terms of desirability, in terms of all the data.
I definitely understand that. I accept that. I've accepted that fact. I accepted that statistical fact. And this is why I focus on other shit. I focus on my money. I focus on my purpose. Some men understand it. Men sometimes, you know what? We can accept fate and we can deal with fate. We can make it work for us, or we can understand fate and do the best we can. I don't complain about it. I don't complain about my, black men will have more desirability than me. White men definitely have more desirability than me. So it is the fact that it is the way of life I live with. So, and a lot of men, we understand that. The thing we have to do is learn from it, understand it. Okay, if you're not that desirable, well, what can you do to help with your desirability? What can you do, to change your focus in life? Where, you know what, fine. If dating is hard for you, how about put some energy in other shit?
That they're collecting in terms of marriages, in terms of sex, access to sex, and the dating app data. Black men are second. Asian men are last. Asian women don't want Asian men in mass. On the flip side, depending on the stat, depending on the data, number 1 is either Asian women or white women, depending on the study. And then number 3 is Hispanic women, and then last is black women.
You just crucified yourself.
It's not crucified, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm saying it in that way and breaking it down in that way is a lot of this animosity that we're having with each other, black men and black women in this country. Africans don't see us as a part of their tribe. Jamaicans don't see us as a part of their tribe. There are no other groups that do. So if globally you are the least desired, and even the other black people, even if the other black people come here, they will look at you different. And they'll still treat you a little bit different. And it takes you a while to kind of warm up, and they'll be honest and say, when I first came here, my parents said not to deal with the black Americans. And I've heard that they have told me this. Who else are you going to listen to in terms of whatever it is that's causing you to be at the bottom of the totem pole of desirability than a black man looking you in your face and saying, this is what I need to feel loved. This is what I need to feel connected. This is what we need in order to feel like we can get back together with y'all. And vice versa. Black women need to communicate and let us know what it is that we're failing and dropping the ball on. So all I'm saying is, rather than trying to focus on men need to adapt to me, that's not the real world. If you want,
but by that statistic, black women need to step up more, because again, by his statistics, black men are globally more desired than black women. So, you have women of other races that would go for black men. You don't really have, not en masse, not globally, men of other races going for black women. So black women do need to, I honestly think that feminism has hurt black women the most, in my opinion, because it's made them extremely masculine, extremely undesirable. So I think black women have more work to do than any other group of women. And I've said this, Asian men also have a lot of work to do because social media entertainment has hurt the Asian men's image. It has made Asian men not very desirable. I get it. The stereotypes, all this shit, I understand.
The job. If you want the position, you need to fill the prerequisites. If the prerequisites are softness, feminine, non-argumentative, more agreeable, either you want to be that or not. And if you were like, well, I don't want to do all of that stuff to get with a man, you're going to end up with the man that most women don't want and other men don't respect. The man that has respect has standards. And
hold on. Bonnie, well, you fact checking him right now? Oh no, you tend to do that. Go ahead. Oh, bro.
So I'm not in the business of trying to transform and say I'm not getting what I want in the dating market. So the problem is all other women. No, the market's the market. I need to adjust to the women. So if you are a woman by default, you have value in terms of beauty. Ain't nobody on the panel ugly. So if you're a woman and you're single and you're 30 or up, the issue is you probably need to adjust to the caliber of man that you say that you want, if you even know where to find him. In the Black community, I'm in a social club in Philly, working professionals, lawyers, doctors, you name it, right? The women who go to those facilities, to those spaces, have an unusual monopoly on a higher tier. These are dudes that do golf. These are dudes that own yachts, right? All the women who don't know about the social clubs, all the women that don't go to the cigar lounges, they have no idea that there's a whole nother bracket of pool of men that they're not even having access to. A lot of Black women, because they didn't do what's the school? They didn't grow up in environments where they were put into these spaces to be put on game. In terms of when you went to school, why was the Asian women and the white women going for 2 reasons and you were going for 1? You were going to get your degree. They were going to get the degree and to find their partner. So when you walked across the aisle with your diploma in hand, they had the diploma in the ring. It's about mindset, it's about approach, it's about intentionality, and it's about humility of if you are 30 or up as a woman and you are mildly attractive, you're doing something wrong. And your single girlfriends can't help you. And if every man that says something to you, he needs to adjust to me, that's the problem.
Amazing. I love this man's logic. I love how he talks. I really do. That's some good stuff. I'm definitely going to check more of his things out. I'm definitely going to check out more the things he said.
The 18-year.
Let's do one more. Let's end out on this one. We'll end on this because I really liked what he said. So let's end out on this one. And it's like the problem is that when you listen to someone who's just saying really great things, it's hard to say anything. It's hard for me to say something that he didn't already say, or said it 1,000 times better than I could have.
I was about to say that a large group of them women believe that they're the prize, so they don't even know anything about going to go gain access to a particular plethora of man or a class of men. If they are already predisposed to think that they're the prize.
If they're in an echo chamber or they're hearing that they're tens and, oh, you don't have to adapt for a man, you let them come after you, then yeah, of course you're going to yield those results every time. And I think that's the main issue is that, we talked about the communications and women don't really care to listen to men. They don't want to believe what it is that men are telling them. And they're constantly reinforced that they are doing the right thing and the men are doing the wrong thing. But we've told these women on the panel, not in depth in particular this show, but different panelists that have came on over and over and over again that you're going to have to make some adjustments. And it does take humility, like you said, but most people aren't willing to because they feel like they're doing the right thing. They're not really trying to hear women are saying it. And I've mentioned the word competitive and people will get extremely angry because I said the tape market is competitive.
Exactly. That's what I was like. I gotta love it, right? One of the things where I love watching Kevin Samuels because he was very educating. He was very enlightening. He speaks so well. The logic was on point. I love it when I hear another brother that speaks amazing. It sounds so logical. And said in such a well thought out way.
But women don't feel the need or have the humility to compete for men in a competitive market. If you won't compete in a field that's competitive, what result can you possibly get?
Well, if when you turned 18, you had access to men that was your age, in their 20s, in their 30s, and in their 40s, and that primarily was offered to you specifically because of your biology and not something you had to earn. You've now had 12-year run of not having to work for attention that's naturally going to be granted to you. Anybody, if I was a woman, I'm sure my mindset would have been very different than what it is as a man.
Wait, hold on.
I get it, understand. I can understand that.
I gotta expose you to something before you go there on the youth. Okay. We done did it many times, but I'm gonna let the women question on this.
Okay.
Because when you talk about a woman becoming 18 and have access to different brackets and age groups of men because of her biological position, her youth, and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can debunk it or you're gonna actually substantiate it, maybe. But there's this frontal lobe argument.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of it? I don't need to say nothing more, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, regardless of the development of the frontal lobe and who develops faster and all this other stuff, I guess the main point I was trying to bring up is you typically had a run that your 18-year-old male counterpart didn't. He has to build up his value. So if the 18-year-old man effectively has very little to offer most single women. So he has to learn what women want and obtain it and become it. By default, a woman.
Really? I'm gonna check that out. I love recommendations. Like I love it. Like men that are like logical men. Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Him. I've seen a few clips of him. So I always love like to hear good logical men.
Who's getting the attention up front because her value is up front. If you are a poor mate selector, by the time you've gotten to 30, 32, 35, 40 plus, a woman that refuses to adjust to the type of man that she wants is effectively the equivalent of a male incel, involuntary celibate. An involuntary celibate is a male that can't get access to women and he refuses to do something about it. So that loser over there to the left.
I heard a quote from one of the commenters that said that if modern day women were men, they would essentially be part of the incel community. Imagine that. If modern day women were men, they would essentially be part of the incel community. Women are stubborn. Women, he just said it. He literally said it correctly.
That guy that's not that no woman's checking for, and he's refusing to put the work in to adjust to the market of what women's expectations are, so that he can get not only the caliber of woman that he wants, but access to women, period. Because you're a woman by default, you're going to get attention from the 400-pound life? When you 400, 500-pound life, when the people be on the show and they got to tear down the door to carry them out, all them big women was never single. There was still a man in there. So you getting access to a man is not a flex. You getting access to the man that you want is the challenge. So if you can't do that as a woman that's been getting access to men since 18, you are the equivalent to that.
Damn.
So until you're willing to make that adjustment, that's why your outcome is what it is. I'll never have men or women come into my office and they walk out thinking society and the world has to change so that I can live life. You have to point.
Exactly.
The greatest success you can make is to make it your responsibility, even if it's not.
It is accountability. 100%. It is about accountability. I've said this countless times, particularly to, on TikTok, the commenter, women commenters. The only thing you can control is yourself. Stop expecting the world. Stop expecting other people to change to fit whatever needs you want, to fit your mindset, to fit your sphere. Stop making that you're the center of the world. The only thing you can affect is you. That's why accountability is so important. Women don't ever accept accountability. The whole thing with the whole victim blaming shit. It is another shame tactic, another phrase to take away accountability from women. I've said this countless times before. When women get abused, I don't say that she deserves to be abused. I don't say she deserves to be abused, but she is the reason why she was abused. Why? Oh my God, why? That's so victim blaming. You're misogynist. No, because, and I'm not saying all situations, but in, I believe, majority of situations, let's say she went out to the club. Well, guess what? The fact that the fact that you went out to the club and then a result that happened that you got, SA. Well, you don't deserve to get SA. That's not what I'm saying. But because of your actions, it led to this consequence. Now, like I said, you don't deserve it. But if you learn about accountability, you understand, you know what? I can control this disgusting man. This disgusting man that did this horrible crime. But what I could control is my actions. I shouldn't have gone out that night. Or I shouldn't have dressed like this. Or I shouldn't have been, I don't know, talking to this sketchy ass man. That is the thing. The only thing you can control. In this world, there are good people and there are bad people. The problem is we have laws that can't even control these bad people. So you think that your, I don't know, woke ideology, your I don't know, preaching can control these people, can change the people? It cannot. So the only thing you can control is yourself, your own actions. That is why accountability matters. So you learn, so you know that what did you do to lead you to a certain kind of outcome. FYI, incels was coined by women named Alana from Toronto who ran a website. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know when women coined that phrase. Interesting. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
If it went wrong, there's something I have to do different. In my marriage, in my kids, in my friendships, in my relationship, the onus is on me.
So let me
yeah, go ahead.
Let me test your logic real quick on that. It's gonna be really quick. Are you saying that if a woman desires a man that prefers or requires a woman to be 140 pounds, but she's 200, are you saying on the record that she need to go lose weight?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hold on. If this is the man she wants,
I agree with you. I just wanted to go on the record.
Yeah, because only in America can we say only America can we say the type of job and salary that we want, but we don't want to have to show up for the interview and want to show up late and make our own rules. Everywhere else in your life, if you wanted the degree, how many credits did you have to take? How many classes did you have to do? You wanted that job? How many interviews did you have to go through? What's the how many times do you have to be in the office? Everywhere else in your life, there are steps and protocols and things that will lead you to the outcome you want. But then when it comes to the man that you want there to be no rules.
And I've said this before. Women put so much effort into their education, into their career, into gaining money. They put so much work. They put so much time and effort into gaining these accomplishments, the degrees, the job, the career, the bank account. But only when it comes to men, women put absolutely zero effort into getting the man, particularly the man that you want. You think it should just happen. You think that, you know what? Men should do all the work. The man that I want, he should be chasing me. He should be courting me. He should be, I don't know, paying my bills. He should be impressing me. He should be begging me. Do you think your teacher's begging you to go to school? Do you think your boss is begging you to go to work? No. You don't do it, you don't get it. You don't do the work, you don't do the studying, you don't get that degree. You don't do the work, you don't get paid. But you don't do the work, you think you should get a guy. You think you should get the guy that you want. This is how little respect women have for men. They have pretty much no respect for men. They have no respect for men. They have more respect for education, for careers and jobs than they do men. They think man is like, whatever. It should just happen. He should be begging me. I don't need to do shit for him.
Take me as I am. The take me as I am men are the men that nobody else wants.
So I know this might be a little bit off the direction that you're going.
Yeah.
But what is your thoughts on the panderer phenomenon? And I've been trying to study it right now. But in terms of how are these people that get behind the microphone and pander able to captivate such a large audience so consistent whenever that large audience can go and look at the facts to see that this guy is playing on your feelings and still turn you into a paying client?
Well, because advertisers know that it's easier to sell to women and children. So if advertisers know that, people that want to get on these platforms know that as well. So if you know that I think it's like 80% of the consumer debt is women. They know they'll spend the money. They know that they'll be on social media. And they know they would love to jump into somebody telling them what they want to hear, even if it's not true. They know that. My argument is to put women on game to what's going on. If everything that's coming out of a man's mouth makes you feel good, you should be running.
When you lie, women will buy. This is why the players, the Pookies, the bad boys, this is why these men are essentially top tier desirable men. They know how to lie. This is the problem. I saw this clip where this man was stuttering. This man sound awkward, seem awkward. Women were thinking this guy was gay. Just because he was stuttering, he didn't like, his words weren't smooth. He didn't, he seemed awkward. He wasn't charming. So women perceived him as creepy, gay, whatever. And why women put so much emphasis on charm. I have a brother-in-law where he's a chubby guy, he's short, but he's good with women because of charm. I said it, if you know how to talk, that's why women will fall in love with you with their ears, while men will fall in love with you with their eyes. If you know how to charm a woman, like this is why one of the characteristics women love is a funny man. Essentially, a man that knows how to charm a woman, a man that's funny. That's part of it. Why women love men that are charming. I get it. I'm not really that. I know my flaws. I'm not good at talking. I stutter a bit. I'm long-winded. My words aren't that good. So I get it. I know my flaws. It's hard. I mean, women don't understand. Men are not born with charm. a lot of men develop charm, they practice charm, and they succeed at charm. Right? They succeed at talking. So guess how they succeed? By getting a lot of women. Like men that are successful at being very charming, very good at talking. Well, those men have high body counts. Those men have dealt with a lot of women. And a lot of women don't understand it. Women kind of say, oh, I wouldn't want a man with a high body count. Okay, ask him, do you like a charming man? Like, yeah, I do. I like a man that, that's charming. Guess what? How did he get charming? He wasn't born with that shit. He gained it by, guess what? Talking and dealing with a lot of women. And men just was like, oh, he didn't just, talk a good game and then stop. No. He talked a good game and, scored that touchdown. Men aren't gonna, he's not gonna put through the effort and talk a good game and then just stop. Because she wants to have sex with me, I'm gonna stop now. No, that's not how it works.
Unless you think you're perfect. Unless you think you're perfect and there's nothing to change, at some point you should hear something that kind of pricks you. Like, I need to tighten up. I need to change that about myself. That's an area I need to grow in. If the guy or the man or woman with the microphone is always saying the blame is the other party, the blame is the man, it ain't you. You're never going to get that. Like, as a therapist, if you came in for 6 months and I agreed with you, all your problems is everybody else but you, what do you have to change?
Well, let's take your morals off the table.
Sure.
If you were making a critical decision to come into it as a podcaster, and your sole focus and your only priority and importance was to make as much money as you can, would you come in the field that you're in, or pander? Take your morals off the table. Pander, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. That confirmed it.
And I know with one, and they actually do it now with men and women. With now they're telling men and women what each side wants to hear, which is what's driving the gender war thing even worse. So now you have this whole market of podcasters, red pill space, black pill space, where it's everything that's wrong in society is because of women. That's how they're marketing it.
Let me say this, okay? I want to clear what I've said before, where I do believe that at the core, maybe this is where people would blame on red pill. At the core of a lot of problems, if not the majority of problems, it is women. But men, I'm not taking away blame from men. The simps, the betas, the men that honestly have no backbone, the men that don't respect themselves, the men that honestly don't care about improving themselves, the men that don't care about being on the journey of the best version of themselves. There are so many men that honestly perpetuate the problems that women have created. There are plenty of men. There are plenty of men that honestly accept whatever. Plenty of men that has no standards, no boundaries. They essentially settle for whatever they can get. Plenty of men like that. What's up, Mr. Smith? Women hate therapy that forces them to self-reflect and do the work to become better human beings. 100%. 100%. Plus, here's the thing. This is why I don't care for therapy, because from what I've seen, from what I've heard, I think a lot of therapists just indulge in women's delusions. So I don't think therapy really helps women to self-reflect, to improve. But that's my own opinion.
And now the guys who's not getting the success that they want in the dating market, the issue is the women. So that.
No, I'm going to say this. I would never say that. Here's the difference where I constantly promote accountability. I don't blame women if I don't have no success. No, I blame myself. I get it. Maybe I'm not that good looking. Maybe I'm not that charming. Maybe I mean, essentially, I'm not. If I'm like messaging a woman on a dating app, maybe I'm not that charming. Okay, maybe I'm not that good with the words and shit like that. So I blame myself. I get it. I'm not really that good looking. I'm not. There's really nothing physically flashy or interesting about me. So I'll take accountability for that. I don't blame women if I have issues in the dating market. It is what it is. Because in my opinion, when you constantly blame other people, how does that help you? How does that fix you? How does that change anything about you? I'd rather change my mindset and say, you know what? At the end of the day, the only thing I can control is myself. If I get women that are, you know what, barely text, or they're lazy with texting, whatever. I don't get it. That's them. If that's how they want to go about their dating life, that is fine. It is what it is. All I can control is myself. So if I'm failing at dating, I'm going to reflect. I'm going to still improve. I'm going to do things that will honestly, get me where I want. One of the things I'm doing is investing, is getting my money up. At the very least, I'm going to get my money up so I can afford the life I want, so I can be happy. Exactly. I'll take constructive criticism over a weightless compliment. Give me something to work on. And that is the importance of accountability. You blaming the world for, which incels do. Okay. This is why it's like, you call me whatever you want, but I know who I am. And I know the brothers in my community. We take accountability. I prefer accountability than blaming the world. I don't blame women for my problems. Okay. I don't blame women for my problems. Now, I make videos of critiquing women that complain about their problems. That's what I do. I don't complain about my problems. I don't do that shit because it solves nothing. It does nothing. It helps nobody. Particularly, it doesn't help me. And that's what I want to promote for more men. Accountability. The only thing in life you can control is yourself. And that is how you can improve your own life. Caring about how the world is unfair, whatever shit about the world, that does fucking nothing for you.
The reason for why I can't get the type of woman I want is because of the women. If the women was better, then everything would be fine. And then on the other side, all the issues are men. Men ain't men no more. The reality is that we all got work to do. But to me, if you become more aware of the proper...
Oh my God, Mr. Smith, facts. I'm working to become the man of my dreams instead of blaming women or society. Exactly. I'm working on becoming the man that I am proud of, becoming the man that I respect. I'm working on the man that, you know what? I can create a happy life for myself and potentially someone that I may end up with. That is what you can control. And that is what I push in my community. This is why my brothers that watch my shit, that follows my stuff, that comments, that, these are my brothers. I know these types of men. These brothers are true, or the men that I support and I'm talking about. I've said this before where I support men. I don't support all men. I support good men. I don't support all men.
Propaganda and indoctrination and the attempts to pander to you. You'll actually know when politicians are lying to you, when life coaches are lying to you, when podcasters are lying to you. Now you see through it. And you'll know it because if you watch enough of their material, they will never speak on certain issues or issues pertaining to certain sexes. It'll be obvious. So the guys that's going on tour and they sound like they're a poet and they say this stuff on stage, but not one time has he ever said something about what a woman needs to change. He's telling her it sounds good. Women fall in love with what they hear. Men fall in love with what they see. So this is why when they want to market to men, OnlyFans, sex sells. They know how to market to us. How do they market to y'all? Tell y'all what y'all want to hear. If you start to learn this and start from an intellectual state, start breaking down why I believe what I believe, and start, is the outcomes of what I'm having currently what I want, you'll have to start relooking in. I got to change something. What?
Great stuff. I love it. I love it. Amazing. I'm going to have to check that brother out more. Ask a brother podcast. I'm going to have to check his stuff out. All right, guys. All right, that's it for tonight. Thank you, my brothers. Evil Eddie, my brother. Thank you for being on tonight. Thank you for joining the, being a part of the live. I love it. Being part of the chat. You're amazing. Mr. Smith, my brother. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. All right, guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the love. You guys are amazing. Evil Eddie, love you, my brother. Thank you for checking out my videos, checking out the live. Please check out the other videos, right? Please check out the videos. Comment if you can. Like the videos if you could. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Later, brothers.